I'm Lucas Moody. I'm in computer science as a sophomore, and I am the assistant director. My original job was going to be just be in charge of Foley, so probably a technical director, so I do that. And I also kind of help shape the show, like creatively and like help with the voices and characters and all that. All right, so in the lodger, we have a lot of, it's the one with the least amount of sound effects, so it's kind of like bigger character one. Like I really like Sleuth when he's like at his slimiest and creepiest, so it's excellent when that happens, and it always happens, so it's good. Sabotage is when most of the Foley really happens, so we have a lot of Foley over there and we have a lot of cool sound effects. I made a sound effect for a particular scene later on where things go boom and it's good. The 39 Steps I enjoy because each show is very, very Hitchcock, which is, it can be a good thing and a very bad thing, but he wrote the book on suspense, and the 39 Steps does a very, very good job of bringing in that sense of suspense and just what is the 39 Steps. Also, our announcer when he is the professor is excellent. So the main setting of this play is actually a radio show in which they perform the 3 different plays, like for their little 2-hour so long variety show, to kind of keep it fresh and interesting for people instead of just having people walk up, say their lines, and sit back down. Each person kind of adopts a persona, like a voice actor that is playing each of those roles. So one might be a military man who just came back from World War II, which just passed in the time period, or a failed actress or something like that. So it kind of keeps them, even when they're sitting down just going over their lines, they're still in character, still interacting with the others, keeping it interesting for the audience members who may have already seen it, because it would be very nice if you saw it and like closed your eyes and listened to it as a radio show and then looked in the background for what's going on. Yeah, originally I was very interested in the Foley in the time period. Before the show, the previous year as a freshman, me and a friend, we had an idea to do a radio show, which unfortunately didn't pan out, and later it ended up becoming our new media committee, which is this right now. And then when this show came along, the chance to do the actual Foley again was like a good chance that I couldn't pass it up. I'm not an expert on film by any means, but Alfred Hitchcock is quite a famous director around, I believe, 60s or so. Known for North by Northwest, I believe, then Psycho, The Birds, so many other things. Admittedly, I haven't done my research, but I believe he did get his start writing radio plays and so on, which I believe these are all samples of. But a lot of his stuff is very, very suspenseful, as I've mentioned. And it's basically his cinematography and his use of suspense wrote the book for how we do thrillers and suspense movies to this very day. Like Psycho is one of the earliest examples of slashers like Friday the 13th and Halloween, etc. Stuff like that. So there are a lot of tropes that come off as a little bit cliched in these and most of his stuff that still use today and still work really well across the board, even in his stuff, as dated as it may be at times. I hope if they're a younger member of the audience, kind of a picture of what it was like listening to a radio show. So I would, if it's a viable thing for people to come and see it twice, because if you're a student of the school, you get to come in free. So one time to just listen like a radio show, not quite focus on the actual actors and actresses, and then on the second show, see the behind the scenes, because it is a pretty good picture of not only a radio show itself, but what went on stage, because they would be reading through their lines, they'd be interacting in the background, they'd be doing the live Foley, all live for the show each week. And for older members, hopefully, we are accurate enough, so they're like, this is what it's like, and it's nice to see this again. So yeah, just a snapshot of what it was like, and hopefully, obviously, entertain and amuse and thrill and all of that. The show is the April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and 9th, 10th, and 11th. here in the Gleason Auditorium at around, doors open at 7, show starts at 8. It is $10 general admission, $5 if you are a senior or military, and free if you have an FIT ID and are a student. Check it out.